The Age of Surveillance Capitalism by Shoshana Zuboff. Picture this. It's the year 2000. A group of brilliant engineers at Georgia Tech are building something incredible, something they call the Aware Home. It's basically the house of the future, designed to work in perfect harmony with the people living inside it. Sensors in the walls, wearables on your body, all working together, not to spy on you, but to genuinely help you. The system would learn your habits and make life easier. It would know about your health conditions and help you manage them. But here's the beautiful part. The engineers who designed this dream made 3 ironclad promises. First, all the data this system created belonged exclusively to you. Second, the power to use that information, also yours. And third, your home would remain what it's always been, your private sanctuary, your sacred space where you call the shots. The Aware Home was an amazing vision of a digital future where technology would be our trusted partner. Now jump to today. You buy a smart thermostat for your home. Sleek little device, learns your schedule, saves you money. Sounds great, right? But when you install it, you're hit with a privacy policy, terms of service, and an end-user license agreement. A team of legal scholars in London actually calculated that to truly understand all the agreements connected to that one thermostat and its ecosystem of apps, you'd need to read nearly 1,000 contracts. And what happens if you refuse? If you say, "No thanks, I don't want to share my private household data with random third parties"? The company's terms make it clear. Your thermostat's functionality gets crippled. Security updates stop. Your home becomes vulnerable to everything from frozen pipes to hackers. So what on earth happened between the Aware Home and the smart thermostat? How did this dream of empowerment morph into a reality of coercion? How did the digital future, which promised to feel like home, start feeling more like exile, where we're watched, tracked, and controlled by forces we can't see and barely understand? That's the central mystery that Harvard professor Shoshana Zuboff unravels in her groundbreaking book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. This isn't just another tech book, it's a revelation of the hidden economic engine driving the 21st century. It sold hundreds of thousands of copies worldwide and been compared to Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations and Karl Marx's Das Kapital. It gives a name to those strange, unsettling feelings we all have about our digital lives. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through her discoveries. By the end, you'll see the invisible architecture being built around your life. You'll understand how your most personal experiences, your clicks, your likes, your searches, even your private conversations, are being transformed into the most valuable commodity on Earth, a new kind of raw material for a multi-trillion-dollar marketplace you've never actually seen. And most importantly, you'll understand the fight that's now underway for your freedom, your autonomy, and your future. Our story begins in the early days of the Internet, a time bursting with wild, untamed optimism. It felt like a new frontier, where information would be free, voices would be amplified, and power would be spread out instead of concentrated. And at the heart of that dream was a young company with a deceptively simple mission: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That company, of course, was Google. In its first years, Google operated on this beautiful cycle. You'd search for something, and along with your search terms, your behavior created a trail of what Zuboff calls digital exhaust, or data exhaust. Things like how you phrased your query, your spelling mistakes, where you clicked, how long you stayed on a page. At first, Google used this exhaust purely to make its service better for you. The more data you provided, the smarter the search engine became. The smarter it got, the more relevant its results. The more relevant the results, the more you used it. A perfect, self-sustaining loop. Zuboff calls this the behavioral value reinvestment cycle. You provided value through data, and that value got reinvested directly back into your experience. In this early model, you were the subject, the point of it all. But there was a problem, a massive one. This beautiful cycle, for all its elegance, wasn't making any money. Google had a fantastic service but no business model. And then, in 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. The financial earthquake that shook Silicon Valley sent panic waves through Google's investors. They were hemorrhaging cash, and the pressure to turn a profit became crushing. This crisis was the turning point. The moment that changed everything, not just for Google, but for all of us. In their desperation, Google's leaders made a pivotal discovery. They realized that the data exhaust they were collecting had a hidden, secondary value. While some of it was needed to improve the service, the rest, the vast majority, was surplus. Behavioral surplus. And this surplus was pure gold. Why? Because it contained predictive signals. It held clues about what you were interested in, what you were thinking about, and, most importantly, what you were likely to do next. Google realized it could use its immense computational power to process this surplus and create a new kind of product, a prediction product. A prediction of your future behavior. And who would pay for such predictions? Advertisers. This was the birth of a brand new economic logic. Zuboff gives it a name: surveillance capitalism. It's a new form of market that claims private human experience as a free source of raw material for production and sales. Let's break that down, because it's the most important idea in the entire book. First, surveillance capitalism unilaterally claims human experience as its raw material. Just as industrial capitalism claimed the natural world, forests, mountains, rivers, and turned them into commodities, surveillance capitalism claims our inner world. Your personality, your emotions, your insecurities, your desires, it's all seen as virgin territory, ready to be harvested. And they decided they could take it for free. Second, it uses this raw material to create prediction products. Your life gets fed into what Zuboff calls machine intelligence, sophisticated artificial intelligence systems that churn out predictions about you. Third, these prediction products get sold in a new kind of marketplace that trades exclusively in human futures. Zuboff calls these behavioral futures markets. Companies buy and sell bets on what you will do. Will you buy this product? Will you click this ad? Will you vote for this candidate? This is the point where our relationship with technology was fundamentally flipped on its head. Suddenly, we were no longer the customer. We weren't even the product, as the old saying goes. We were something far more fundamental. We were the source of the raw material, the oil field, the diamond mine. Our lives became the free natural resource fueling this new economic engine. The actual customers of Google and, later, Facebook are the businesses that buy predictions about our future behavior. This shift created a new kind of power, built on extreme information asymmetry. They know everything about us, while their operations are designed to be unknowable to us. They accumulate vast domains of new knowledge from us, but not for us. They predict our futures for others, gain, not ours. Once this model proved to be unimaginably profitable, the race was on. The logic of competition kicked in, creating what Zuboff calls the prediction imperative. To stay ahead, surveillance capitalists needed to make their predictions better, and better predictions required more and more data. This led to two major expansions. The first was scale. They needed to extract as much data as possible. This is why Google expanded beyond search into maps, email, photos, and the Android operating system. It's why Facebook developed the like button, a brilliant invention for capturing your preferences across the entire internet. But soon, scale wasn't enough. To make truly powerful predictions, they also needed scope. Not just lots of data, but many different kinds of data. This drove the second expansion, the move from the virtual world into the real world. This is what Zuboff calls the reality business. Suddenly, your home, your car, your city, and even your body became new frontiers for extraction. The aware home, that dream from 2000, was dead. In its place rose the Google Home, the Amazon Echo, the smart thermostat, the connected television, the fitness tracker. Each device, marketed as a convenience, was also a sophisticated listening post, a sensor designed to transform another slice of your lived experience into behavioral data. It's not about the car. It's about the behavioral data from driving the car. It's not the smart mattress. It's the data about your sleep patterns, your heart rate, even the audio signals in your bedroom. It's not the map. It's the data from interacting with the map, revealing where you go, how long you stay, and who you're with. This is why Zuboff argues the phrase Internet of Things is misleading. It should be called the Internet of Things that are watching you. But even this vast expansion into the real world wasn't the final frontier. The prediction imperative drove surveillance capitalism to its most audacious and disturbing conclusion. The surest way to predict behavior is to shape it. This marks the shift from knowledge to power. The goal is no longer just to know what you'll do. The goal now is to make you do it, to guarantee outcomes. This is where Zuboff introduces the concept of economies of action. The digital apparatus is no longer just a listening post. It becomes an actuating machine. It doesn't just observe, it acts. It works through a sophisticated system of tuning, herding, and conditioning. Tuning involves subtle interventions designed to nudge your behavior in a profitable direction. Think about the timing of a "Buy Now" button on your phone, or the specific phrase inserted into your Facebook news feed. Herding involves controlling your context to limit your choices. An insurance company using telematics in your car could remotely disable the engine if a payment is late. That's not a nudge. That's a shove. It herds you out of the car and toward the payment office. And conditioning is the classic system of rewards and punishments, deployed at massive scale to shape our habits. Zuboff provides two powerful examples of this in action. The first is Facebook's now infamous emotion experiments. In 2012, Facebook secretly manipulated the news feeds of nearly 700,000 users. They showed one group more positive posts and another group more negative posts. They proved they could make people feel happier or sadder and change the emotional tone of their own posts, all without their awareness. They exploited our natural human empathy to create what they called emotional contagion. The second, and perhaps even more profound example, is the global phenomenon of Pokemon Go. On the surface, it was just a fun game, an augmented reality treasure hunt that got people outside. But Zuboff reveals it was something else entirely. It was a massive, real-world experiment in behavior modification for profit. The game was developed by Niantic Labs, a company incubated inside Google and led by John Hanke, the same person behind Google Maps and the controversial Street View project. Hanke and his team realized the game was a perfect vehicle for herding large populations to specific real-world locations. The business model wasn't just in-app purchases. The real money was in what they called sponsored locations. Companies like McDonald's and Starbucks paid Niantic to turn their stores into Pokestops or gyms. The game's algorithms then herded millions of players directly to their doorsteps. Hanke even described the revenue model as cost per visit, a direct mirror of Google's cost per click model for online ads. The players thought they were playing Pokemon Go, but they were also unwitting pawns in a much larger game, one whose goal was to convert their movement into revenue. They were the product being sold in a behavioral futures market where businesses could buy guaranteed foot traffic. This, Zuboff argues, is the blueprint for the future that surveillance capitalism is building. A world where our behavior is continuously monitored and subtly shaped toward commercial ends, all happening just beyond our awareness. This brings us to the ultimate power this new economic logic has created. Zuboff gives it a new name because it's a new species of power, unprecedented in human history. She calls it instrumentarianism. We often reach for George Orwell's 1984 and the image of Big Brother to describe our fears about surveillance. But Zuboff argues this is a dangerous mistake. It's like calling the first automobile a horseless carriage. It makes us miss what's truly new and different. Totalitarianism, the power of Big Brother, was a state project. It wanted to possess your soul. It used terror, violence, and murder to engineer a new kind of human being. Its goal was total possession. Instrumentarianism, on the other hand, is a market project. It operates through a vast, sensate, and connected digital apparatus that Zuboff calls Big Other. Big Other doesn't want your soul. It's profoundly indifferent to your inner world, your meanings, and your motives. It only wants your behavior, reduced to data. It doesn't use violence. It uses radical indifference and automated systems of nudges and rewards. Its goal isn't possession, but total certainty. It doesn't care why you do something, only that you do it in a way that's predictable and profitable. Totalitarianism wanted to crush your individuality to make you conform to the collective. Instrumentarianism doesn't need to crush you, it just needs to tune you. It wants to create a society that functions like a perfectly synchronized machine, where social pressure and automated systems ensure everyone moves in harmonious, predictable patterns. This is the utopia of certainty, a world without the messy, unpredictable, and sometimes beautiful friction of human free will. In this world, Zuboff argues, we're being exiled from our own lives. Our experience gets rendered into data, but we're excluded from the knowledge that data provides. We become like ghosts in our own lives, our behavior owned and directed by others. This leads to the loss of two fundamental human rights we've never had to name before, because they've never been under systematic attack. The first is the right to the future tense. This is our ability to imagine a future for ourselves and to will it into being. It's the foundation of a promise, of a goal, of authorship over your own life. Surveillance capitalism replaces our I will with its you will. It claims our future as its own, to be shaped and sold for profit. The second is the right to sanctuary. Throughout human history, we've understood the need for private space, a home, a backstage, where we can be our unvarnished selves, free from others' gaze. Big Other, this ubiquitous apparatus, is designed to eliminate sanctuary. It brings the universe into our walls, our bedrooms, our very bodies, leaving us with no escape. This entire system, Zuboff concludes, amounts to a new form of illegitimate power. It's not a military coup. It's what she calls a coup from above, an overthrow of the people's sovereignty, carried out not by the state, but by a new, rogue form of capitalism that's hijacked the digital future for its own ends. It's a form of tyranny that feeds on people but isn't of the people. It's a conquest that operates not with armies and banners, but with algorithms and declarations, with terms of service we don't read and technologies we don't understand. And it succeeded, Zuboff argues, because we were unprepared for something so new, so audacious, and so total in its ambition. Reading The Age of Surveillance Capitalism is like being handed special glasses that let you see the hidden machinery operating just beneath the surface of your daily life. It's a profound, and at times deeply unsettling experience. Shoshana Zuboff doesn't just describe a series of privacy violations. She reveals an entirely new economic logic that's quietly become the dominant force of our time. And the most powerful lesson from this book is that what's happening to us isn't an accident. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It's the intended consequence of a system designed for one purpose: to turn our lives into profit by achieving total certainty. Think about the last time you felt that irresistible pull to check your phone for notifications. That little dopamine hit Sean Parker, Facebook's first president, talked about, that's not your weakness. That's a machine designed with the precision of a Swiss watch to capture and hold your attention. Think about the last time an ad seemed to read your mind, showing you exactly what you'd just been talking about. That's not magic. That's Big Other, connecting the dots from your conversations, your location, your search history, and 1,000 other signals to put that ad in front of you at the perfect moment of vulnerability. What Zuboff does so brilliantly is give us the language to name these forces. Words like behavioral surplus, instrumentarian power, and the right to the future tense aren't just academic terms. They're tools. They're weapons in the fight to reclaim our own lives. Because the book's final message isn't one of despair, but of empowerment. This future isn't inevitable. Zuboff reminds us of a powerful line from John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, where farmers are being kicked off their land by agents of the bank. The agents say the bank is something more than men. Men made it, but they can't control it. It's a monster. This is the lie of inevitability. The lie that tells us technology has a mind of its own, that progress must move in only one direction, that we're powerless to resist. Zuboff shows us that people made this. Specific individuals, in a specific time and place, made choices that led us here. And because it was made by people, it can be unmade and remade by people. So what can we do? The fight against a multi-trillion-dollar system can feel overwhelming. But it starts with simple, personal acts of resistance. First, awareness. The most crucial step is simply to see it. Start noticing these mechanisms in your daily life. When you feel that compulsive pull, name it. When an app asks for your location for no good reason, name it. When a service feels a little too magical, name it. Call it what it is: surveillance. This is the beginning of waking up from what Zuboff calls our psychic numbing. Second, be the friction. Surveillance capitalism thrives on smooth, frictionless data flow. Anything that interrupts that flow is resistance. Question the defaults. Turn off location services for apps that don't need them. Use browsers that block trackers. Choose services that respect your privacy, even if they aren't as slick. It's not about hiding perfectly. It's about refusing to be an easy target. It's about asserting that your life isn't a free source of raw material. And third, conversation. This is perhaps the most powerful tool of all. Talk about this. Share what you've learned. Ask your friends, your family, your teachers, if they know how this new economy works. Ask them if they believe it's okay. Because democracy doesn't start in a voting booth. It starts in conversation, when people decide together what kind of future they want to build. That was a deep dive into The Age of Surveillance Capitalism by Shoshana Zuboff. We've explored the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a great national park. It can show you the main trails and the highest peaks, but it can never replace the feeling of walking the path yourself. The real magic of this book happens in the quiet moments of reading, when a particular story or powerful phrase connects with your own experience and changes the way you see the world. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has stirred something in you, if it's made you curious or even a little angry, then I urge you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an act of awakening. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It lets me know we're on the right track, and it ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.